Were you working that day?
Yes.
And where were you working at Harborview?
It appears I was the attending surgeon that was on call.
And what does that mean if you're on call?
So when we are on call, that means we take the consults from the emergency department for any patient that arrives that might need surgery.
And did patients named Thomas Fowler and Sarah Williams come into the ER that day?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had a chance, I know you have a lot of patients, but did you have direct contact with them, and have you had a chance to review the records of their care?
I have.
Okay. Let's start first with Thomas Fowler. Can you tell us what he presented with? What was his injury?
To my recollection from reviewing the medical record, it appeared that he had multiple pellet-like gunshots to his head and neck area, but he was not unstable, meaning his blood pressure and such were stable.
Okay. Do you remember how deeply the pellets had gone?
Based on our examination, as well as examinations with CT scans, it looked like it was near his airway, meaning near his windpipe, but did not reach that level of injuring his windpipe, which would have been the critical structure in that area.
Right. So what would have happened if it had moved an inch or two the wrong direction into the windpipe?
It could have injured the windpipe and caused him to have difficulty breathing.
And with an injury like this, is that the main concern?
That is the first concern, as injury to the windpipe basically can cause death pretty quickly if that's not recognized and treated right away.
Are there secondary concerns as well?
In the same area, the esophagus, which is the food pipe, is also very close by, and if that structure is injured, then that can lead to pretty significant problems with swallowing as well as infection if that injury is not discovered and treated. And even when it is treated, it is a difficult area to heal.
So when Mr. Fowler came in, after he was examined, what was the plan of action? What happened with him?
Since it appeared that he did not have any injuries that required immediate surgery, he was admitted to the ICU, to the intensive care unit, so that we could watch him very closely to ensure that his windpipe, or we call his airway, did not then develop problems, because occasionally the area can just swell a lot, and that alone can cause problems with breathing.
Your Honor, I can't really hear.
Let me have you take the microphone that's right next to you. That's sort of
the larger
thing.
one.
This? Yeah. The acoustics in here are not fabulous.
Okay.
So, thank you. What about the vocal cords? Could those be damaged as well?
Yes, the vocal cords also sit right in that area, and if the vocal cords are injured, then there can be, in addition to problems speaking, or if there are two vocal cords, if one is injured, then it can cause hoarseness and problems swallowing. If both are injured, then it can cause complete loss of your voice and inability to swallow and protect the food from going down the wrong pipe.
Was that a concern as well?
Yes.
All right. Now, Mr. Fowler testified that he still has pellets in his system. Why would that happen? Why would pellets get left behind?
Typically, whenever we evaluate patients that have had projectiles, such as bullets, however big or small, that have entered their body, depending on where it is in the body, sometimes it is more dangerous to go after them and to remove them unless it looks like it's actually causing some damage.
So they just stay inside the body?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's been marked States Exhibit 100 and 101. If you could take a look at those and tell us if you recognize them.
Yes.
And what do they depict?
These are x-rays of Mr. Fowler's chest and his the upper part of his spine.
Okay. And 101?
I'm sorry, that was 101.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't
That's
see
okay.
that.
100?
100 is just a, we call this a spot film, but this is the initial image that we get when patients are getting a CAT scan.
Okay. And do either of those show the pellets present in the neck area?
Yes.
Okay. And is that on 101 or on both?
You can see it on both.
Okay. Offer 100 on 101.
No objection.
Admitted.
Okay, looking first at, can you see it from there?
I can't exactly see the pellets from
Okay,
there.
could I ask you to step down, please? We're looking at number 100. I could have you stand at the far end of the screen and show us where on there, they're hard to see, but where are the pellets?
So they are here in this area.
Okay.
And this may be one also, and here.
And for the record, you're indicating the neck and upper chest?
Correct. And by convention, the images are always opposite. So this is the right side of the body. This is the left side of the body.
Okay. And then this is number 101. And what are we looking at there?
So here is the neck area and the upper part of the chest. And we can see that there, again, here, these dark spots.
And on the right?
And this is what we call an oblique view, so it's taken from this direction, and so this is the spine and the back. This is the chest cavity, the jaw is up here, and you can see pellets there as well.
Okay, you can resume your seat. Thank you. So in Mr. Fowler's case, it was not worth the risk, or there would be nothing gained to go in and try to remove those little pellets.
Correct.
Okay. So how long did he stay in the hospital?
It was my recollection that he stayed till the next day and then was discharged.
Okay. Is there ever concern about nerve damage?
There can be, and there are nerves in the neck area that could be injured with projectiles in that area.
Okay. When he was discharged, would you expect someone to have to do some follow-up after that?
Typically, there's a follow-up that a patient comes to maybe a week or two after discharge, just to ensure that there are no complications that have come up or missed injuries or missed symptoms and such.
Okay. Now, let's move to Ms. Williams. Sarah, when she came into the ER, what was her injury?
So she was quite a bit sicker, and she ultimately ended up having, as her most significant injury, an injury to a major artery in her arm called the axillary artery.
Okay. And why is that significant?
It's a large artery that comes off of one of the major blood vessels that comes off the aorta, which is the main blood vessel that comes off the heart, and it supplies blood to the rest of to the entire arm.
So what's the risk if that's damaged?
If it's injured, then someone could bleed to death if that's not controlled.
And when she was shot, someone described it as about the size of a $50, I think it was. But when you reviewed the records, were you able to see lots of little pellets in her?
It was my recollection that the wounds on her body were fairly large. I think perhaps larger than what you described.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with the chest x-ray that she had on arrival, we knew that there were many bullets in the area.
Okay. So is the artery the main concern?
Correct.
Is there a secondary concern at all?
If the chest cavity, which is in the same vicinity as where the entrance wound appeared to be or where one of the wounds appeared to be. And if the lung is injured or the lining of the lung is injured, then that can cause a collapse of the lung or bleeding in the lung, and that also can lead to instability.
Okay. Now, Ms. Williams testified this morning that her lung did collapse. What is the treatment for that?
Typically, the treatment is for us to place a tube in the chest to drain whatever air or fluid that's in that space to try to re-expand the lung.
Okay. I'm going to hand you 102, 103, and 104. I wouldn't mind taking a look at those and you can tell us what they depict.
102 is a plain chest x-ray of Sarah Williams that shows